it's also it's a dangerous, it's a mind that can explode on you at any time. So even a tweet that you put out, you have to think 10 times, delete, edit, because so it does happen, and it does stifle your creativity to an extent.
We're living in a world where everything is increasingly being given an agenda in that way. It's being seen as something that it might not have started off as being. Are you also finding yourself second guessing the way you're writing because of a certain, I don't know if fear is the right word, or maybe apprehension of it being taken in a way that you might not have intended it to be?
So you mean we're living in a very politically correct universe?
Yes, in a way, and also the fact that we are also living in a universe where there's a lot of attributions to something that you write, which might not be your original intention, but might fit someone else's agenda.
Yes, so I think you're quite right about that. See, the first book was non-fiction, so it was different, but the next one was fiction, and that came out of me very organically. But now when I'm writing, sometimes I, self-edit and self-censor, and then I'm like, but this is coming in the way of my spontaneity as a writer, because we are living at a time where people are wearing very thin skins.
Yes.
And everybody is reactive. They don't respond, they react. Okay. And cancel culture, we see how that's panning out. So I'm saying that these are all symptoms of a very extremist society, a confused society that had the knee-jerk reaction to everything, and where they align with like-minded naysayers because they find strength in that. Now, while from the same social media that we are sort of speaking of sometimes pejoratively, and this society also has sprung the Me Too movement, correct? And it has, worked well for the LGBTQ community as well. So it has served us very well in certain ways, but it's also it's a dangerous, it's a mind that can explode on you at any time. So even a tweet that you put out, you have to think 10 times, delete, edit, because so it does happen, and it does stifle your creativity to an extent.
Also, everyone seems to have an opinion about everything. In fact, two of them. So, do opinions about what you write affect you? Because everyone's the democratization of expression in that way, as it is of the art, has also, as you said, thrown up some phenomenal names and some phenomenal things. But it's also led to a lot of opinions that aren't really backed by knowledge, so to speak. So, do you let that affect you in the way that you write, or maybe as an expression of how your writing is taken?
So I used to be very active on Twitter in the early days of Twitter, and in the past 1 year, I weaned myself off Twitter, because whether you share an opinion that is well thought out or not, the reaction to that, the trolling that follows, and especially, I'm a feminist, and by feminist, I mean that men and women are equal. So I'm not that feminist who is now going to constantly, go after men in our society. I'm just trying to ask for equality. But the kind of trolling I get from men for expressing my opinion about that. And at first I thought, doesn't matter, I'm going to be undaunted by this. But that negativity that comes at you, right? That, madam, everything is not about feminism, and everything is not, and women like you should be shown your place. So that's how everything happens. So I think that Twitter has become a very toxic place. Sure. I feel only heads of states should use it to put their quotable quotes out there, and celebrities. I've completely weaned myself off that. But I think that everybody, like you said, democratization of voice and opinion is good to an extent, because a lot of people who would have never had the chance to express their creativity through these platforms are now being able to do that.